Have you ever wondered why some people achieve everything they set out to do, while others remain trapped in mediocrity? The answer isn't in what they do, but in how they think. Today, you'll learn how to reprogram your mind for abundance by following the principles of the master of success mindset, Napoleon Hill. I promise you that after this video, your way of thinking will never be the same again. And the best part? You'll see immediate results. Our mind is the most important battlefield that exists. Napoleon Hill, after studying over 500 millionaires for 20 years, discovered that the only difference between success and failure lies in mental programming. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve, Hill said. And he was right, because your brain doesn't distinguish between what's actually happening and what you tell it is happening. But here's the problem. Most of us have been programmed for scarcity, not abundance. From an early age, we're taught that money doesn't grow on trees, that you have to suffer to gain, that rich people are bad. And these beliefs become engraved in our subconscious, sabotaging every attempt to improve our situation. Has it happened to you that every time you start to prosper, somehow you end up back at square one? It's not a coincidence. It's your mental programming working against you. The first step to reprogramming your mind is identifying these limiting beliefs. Think for a moment, what phrases did you hear about money or success when you were a child? Money is the root of all evil? People like us will never be rich. These are seeds of scarcity that were planted in your subconscious. Exercise. Take a piece of paper and write down all the negative beliefs you have about money and success. Then, next to each one, write a new belief to replace it. For example, if you wrote money corrupts, change it to money amplifies who I already am and allows me to do more good in the world. Napoleon Hill stated it clearly. What your mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But first, you must believe it. And to believe it, you must constantly feed your mind with thoughts of abundance. If you want to transform your financial life, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Every week, we share strategies to master your mind and achieve the financial freedom you deserve. And now, let's move on to the next crucial point that will forever change your relationship with abundance. Creative visualization is the bridge between your thoughts and material reality. Napoleon Hill discovered that all the great leaders and millionaires he studied had something in common. They used the power of visualization to manifest their goals before they became reality. Imagination is the workshop where all the plans created by man are forged, Hill said. Your subconscious doesn't distinguish between what you vividly visualize and what you experience in reality. Every time you imagine achieving your goals, living in abundance and enjoying financial freedom, you're literally reprogramming your mind to seek out and create those experiences. But here's the problem. Most people use their imagination to visualize their fears and worries. They imagine failing, running out of money, or being rejected. Have you caught yourself thinking about the worst possible scenario? Every time you do this, you're programming your mind for failure. The good news is that you can change this with a simple yet powerful practice. Spend 10 minutes every morning visualizing in rich detail the prosperous life you want to create. Not just seeing yourself rich, but feeling the emotions associated with that prosperity. Freedom, security, generosity, peace of mind. Exercise. Every night before going to sleep, close your eyes and visualize with vivid details what a perfect day in your life of abundance would look like. Where do you live? What's your morning like? What do you work on? Who surrounds you? Feel the gratitude, freedom, and joy as if it were already your reality. Your subconscious will absorb these images and begin working to make them real. Napoleon Hill taught that what the mind can conceive and believe, it can also achieve. But you must see that reality in your mind first with absolute faith and positive expectation. Are you enjoying these insights? Hit like and share this video with someone who needs to hear this message today. Your action could change a life. And that brings us to our next point, which will revolutionize your way of thinking about money. Your inner circle is decisive for your abundance mindset. Napoleon Hill called it the mastermind and described it as the coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony between two or more people for the achievement of a definite purpose. Think about this. Your income is usually the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you're surrounded by people with a scarcity mindset, who constantly complain and see problems in every opportunity, it's almost impossible to develop an abundance mindset. Hill discovered that all the great millionaires had inner circles of people who elevated them, challenged them, and shared their vision of abundance. No mind is complete by itself, he said. We need the inspiration, knowledge, and energy of other minds tuned to prosperity. Have you ever noticed how your energy and motivation change depending on who you spend time with? After talking with some people, you feel drained and pessimistic, while others fill you with inspiration and possibilities. This is not a coincidence. Your brain is constantly absorbing the beliefs, expectations, and attitudes of those around you. It's like programming through osmosis. If you want to reprogram your mind for abundance, you must deliberately surround yourself with people who already live in that mental state. Exercise. Make a list of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Next to each name, note whether that person has an abundance or scarcity mindset. Do they inspire you to grow, or do they keep you small? Now, identify 2 people with an abundance mindset you could spend more time with, and 2 people with a scarcity mindset you should limit your contact with. You can't fly with the eagles if you keep scratching with the chickens, Napoleon Hill used to say. It's time to elevate your circle, and with it, your mindset. Are you realizing how many areas of your life need adjustments to align with abundance? Keep watching, because the next point will show you how the universe directly responds to your thought patterns. Persistent and determined action is the bridge between your inner and outer world. Napoleon Hill discovered that the main difference between the successful and the mediocre wasn't their intelligence, nor their connections, not even their luck. It was their ability to persist in the face of obstacles. Persistence is to the character of man what carbon is to steel, wrote Hill. Without it, even the best ideas, the best plans, and the most powerful visualizations remain mere dreams. But here's the paradox that many don't understand. Persistence doesn't mean blindly insisting on the same approach when it's not working. True persistence is keeping the goal fixed, but being willing to adjust the method as many times as necessary. The millionaires Hill studied had failed many more times than the average person. The difference is that they didn't interpret failure as a sign to give up, but as valuable information about what doesn't work. Every failure carries with it the seed of an equivalent success, Hill said. Have you noticed that many times you abandon your goals just when you're about to reach them? It's like digging for gold, and after several meters without finding anything, you give up. What you don't know is that the gold could be just a few inches away. Most people abandon their financial abundance goals just before the tipping point, and then they convince themselves that it wasn't for them or that they had bad luck. But the reality is that they simply didn't persist long enough. Exercise. Identify an area of your financial life where you've given up due to lack of immediate results. Now, commit to trying again with a new approach, but maintaining the same goal. Clearly define what you'll do differently this time and establish a minimum period of persistence before evaluating results. Napoleon Hill taught us that victory is reserved for those who are willing to pay its price in enthusiastic effort and persistence. Are you willing to pay that price? If this content is helping you, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos on mindset and financial success. And now let's explore the 5th and most powerful principle for reprogramming your mind for abundance. This is the one that makes the difference between those who achieve momentary prosperity and those who live in permanent abundance. Gratitude is the most powerful magnet for attracting more abundance into your life. Napoleon Hill discovered that the most successful and happy millionaires had a distinctive characteristic. They practiced gratitude as a daily habit, not just as an occasional response. Gratitude is a way of returning energy to the universe, Hill explained, and the universe responds by sending more of what you're grateful for. This isn't a mystical concept, but a psychological reality. What you focus your attention on expands. When you practice gratitude, you're literally reprogramming your brain to detect opportunities, solutions, and abundance. The human brain has a filter called the reticular activating system that determines what information will reach your consciousness among the millions of stimuli constantly surrounding you. Have you noticed that when you buy a new car, suddenly you start seeing the same model everywhere? It's not that more cars of that type have appeared, it's that your brain is now programmed to notice them. The same happens with abundance when you practice gratitude. Most people live in a constant state of lack, always focusing on what they're missing. When I have more money, I'll be happy. When I achieve this goal, I'll be satisfied. But this focus perpetuates scarcity because your brain is programmed to look for what's missing, not what you already have. Gratitude reverses this pattern. When you give thanks for the abundance that already exists in your life, however small, your brain begins to look for more evidence of abundance, and what you seek, you find. Exercise. Every morning before checking your phone or starting your day, write down 3 financial aspects you're grateful for. It can be as simple as, I have enough to eat today, or as profound as I have skills that are valuable in the marketplace. Genuinely feel that gratitude as you write. Do this for 21 consecutive days and observe how your perception of abundance begins to change. Napoleon Hill said, "Gratitude is the most powerful force for transforming any situation. When you give thanks for what you already have, you immediately leave the state of lack and enter a state of abundance, regardless of your current circumstances." Do you realize the power you have to transform your financial reality simply by changing your mental focus? We've reached the end of this transformative journey, but it's really just the beginning of your new relationship with abundance. Today you've learned 5 fundamental principles that Napoleon Hill discovered in his decades studying the most successful people in the world, identifying and replacing limiting beliefs, using creative visualization to program your mind, surrounding yourself with an inner circle of abundance mindset, persisting with determined action, and practicing gratitude as a magnet for prosperity. But all this knowledge is worth nothing without implementation. As Hill said, knowledge is not power, it is potential power. It becomes power only when it is organized into definite plans and directed toward a definite goal. Your mind is the most fertile field in the universe. What you sow in it, you will reap in your reality. From today, consciously decide what seeds you will plant there. Observe your thoughts like a vigilant gardener, pulling out the weeds of scarcity and planting the seeds of abundance. Remember, it's not about denying current reality, but about focusing on the reality you want to create. As Napoleon Hill taught, every adversity carries with it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. Even your current financial challenges contain opportunities to grow, learn, and expand. I want you to comment below with this declaration to seal your commitment to this new path. I choose to reprogram my mind for abundance. From today on, I think like the prosperous, not like the scarce. If this video has impacted you, share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Sometimes a single video can change the course of a life. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to receive more content that will help you master your mind and achieve the financial freedom you deserve. Remember, abundance isn't something you achieve, it's something you become. And that process begins today with a decision. The decision to reprogram your mind for the prosperity you deserve.